like that carried over to high school. Obviously, you won 3 consecutive championships in a row.
Yep.
You McDonald's All-American. How did you keep that pace going when it was like, because like some could look at it and be like, you know what, it might be too easy for him at this point. How did you keep yourself motivated for like each of those years?
I think, and that's a great question. I think, having early success is a gift and a curse. I think it's a gift and a curse because, the early success, you can become comfortable, right? And you don't get in the gym, you don't grind, you don't go to get better. Like I said, you're just comfortable where you're at. You're hearing that you're a good player already, so you don't put in that extra work. But for me, my family, my religion, it really kept me grounded and kept me motivated to wanting more and wanting to do more. Just never being satisfied, always wanting to do that next thing. And they say you're only as good as your last game. So I wanted to always put my best foot forward, man. And so that was my motivation to being the best player and not allowing that early success to get me comfortable. And so, I just really blessed to have the type of family and the support that I had that always pushed me and kept me humble. But very thankful that I still had that motivation to want to go out and show people on the court that who was the best player when I was playing.
Yeah,
Sure did do that.
Something I wondered is, could I seen the shot that was going around social media here these past months.
Yeah.
I think it was a shot to make sure we remembered, and I think everyone remembered how great you were. But when you hit that shot at it was the Civic Center, right? St. Paul Civic Center for the championship.
Yes, that was the quarterfinal game. You talking about St. Thomas Academy? Yeah, that was
like. How was that feeling? Just knowing like we trying to get back to where we getting back to, and my team need me in this moment to come through for a shot. Was it even like? Was it just like this is what I do, or was it like? Was there any pressure? Like how did
and
that
not
feel?
to be. Not to be cocky
No,
and
we
whatnot,
wanna hear,
real talk. It was that was the mentality, though, right? This is what I do, right? And I'm not saying nothing that's not true. You know what I'm saying? I studied for those moments. I prepared for those moments. Being at the YMCA on those weeknights, practicing those, right? Wanting the ball in that time frame, wanting the ball in the last seconds, wanting to come through from my school, from my community, right, from my team. So, but yeah, going back to that game, it was the quarterfinal, 1996 state tournament. We were just coming off of our first state tournament or state championship, going undefeated. So we definitely wanted to repeat as champions. But St. Thomas Academy, man, they had the Twin Towers. Javier Collins, who went on, they played for the Dallas Cowboys. They had another twin tower of Matthew Lee. He went D1, went to Bradley University. Those guys are very successful now as grown men. Shout out to them. But they really pushed us, with their size, controlling the rebounds and altering shots. They were able to keep the game close, and them happening to be up one with 5 seconds to go on the free throw line. We needed a miss. Luckily, Matt Lee wasn't a great free throw shooter, so that was the reason why we actually fouled him in that time, because he wasn't a great free throw shooter, and we knew that he would. The chance of him missing were pretty good, so we fouled him down one. We were able to get the rebound off the 1-and-1. Through the outlet pass to Ozzie. Ozzie passed it to me going up the middle. I was able to take a few dribbles and knock down the three. That wasn't planned, but, just reading the time and the situation, that's how much time that I had to, get to that shot. Like I said, man, I practiced that shot numerous times. I wasn't nervous. I just wanted to be able to come through for my team and my community because, not only we didn't just want to win one state. We wanted to go back to back. And, that I wanted to live that legacy. I wanted to have that back-to-back state tournament because not many North teams, I don't think none up to that point have done that. And just to make my mark, right, on my career, on my high school career. So, yeah, man. I just stayed calm and was able to knock that shot down, and I knew it was a big shot. I knew it was, an opportunity for us to keep playing, but I did it for the north side. It wasn't just for me; it was for the north side. And once I did it, I was so happy. I ran and went over to the crowd, right, because I wanted to share that with them, share that with my family, and that was a big shot.
It was monumental, too.
That was legendary.
That was monumental.
Do you think so? Thinking back, do you think that was your most competitive high school game, or is there other games that stood out as just like pure competition?
The most competitive? I wouldn't say it's the most competitive, but it was a great game. But we did have some other competitive games that we had to fight and we had to battle to come out victorious in. But that was one of the bigger games because it was in the state tournament, and the whole state was watching. And so I think that's why it gets a little bit more of the legend status because it was, in the state tournament. But, we had fights in the city conference. We had fights in, when we went out of town and played, even when Oak Hill Academy came in and played.
Play Oak Hill?
Yeah, and we played it. Yeah, we were battling, but we were able to beat them. That was my senior year. That's when they had William Avery. They had Jamel Medley. He went to Villanova. They had Attila Crosby. He went to Pittsburgh. They had a lot of D1 players on that team, man. And on paper, they should have blew us out the water. But, that's why you actually play the game. You know what I mean?
You got to play it.
And so, us representing home, us playing in the Target Center that game, we were just coming from St. Louis. We were able to go to St. Louis. We played a team from St. Louis. We beat them. So we were ready. We were ready to defend, the downtown, the state of Minnesota, and we were able to do that. We were able to come out and we just had a better team. We were just playing at a high level that game, and we showed who we were. We showed that, it don't matter if you have 8 Division I players, you know what I mean? Right. If you're not together, if you're not a team, you can be beaten. So we were the better team that day, man, and we just wanted to put Minnesota basketball on the map, and we were able to do that with that signature win against Oak Hill Academy.
That's tough right there. I didn't even know about that. They sleeping on that in the archives. How they ain't putting that out there?
I was gonna say y'all
we won by like 20.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like a basketball factory, literally.
Without you mentioning that, besides that, people will swear, and rightfully so. I mean, that was a big game, but just swear that when Minnehaha played Sierra Canyon, that was like the first time that's happened. Where that's happened when you had come to the Target Center. Yeah. Right. No, we did it. We did it back in 97, my senior year.
To find that game. We got it got to be somewhere out here. That's one of these old ADs. Like I know y'all got this game. Where is it at? We got to see that because that's some history. How'd you do against them? Do you remember your numbers? Your stat line?
I did pretty well. I think. I probably end up having maybe 18, something like that, 18, 20, I kind of prided myself on that too, the big games, playing, my best. It doesn't always happen like that, but, for the majority, you want to play your best in the biggest games, and I was able to do that, whether it was scoring, whether it was assist or just giving my guys confidence. We were able to step up to a lot of those challenges, man.
I was going to ask you, because you guys won 3 championships, so you was talking about going back-to-back, then you three-peat.
Yeah.
And then those roster changes probably, right? So you probably had a different roster your first time winning it.
You're right.
So talk about kind of how that, kind of affects it and still having to get guys. You may have younger guys now or people now that's your age that weren't playing at that high level. That like you were playing varsity, they were probably playing JV freshman, but still watching what you guys were doing and then coming up. So talk about that, like with the roster changes, having to get everyone to buy in to what's going on and keeping that tradition alive.
Well, we had that culture, right? Yeah. We had the culture of this is a winning tradition. Winning's trumping everything. I don't give a fuck how many points you average. I don't care how many assists you average. I don't care about that. We're going to win first, and that's going to allow everybody to get their shine, and we'll let the balls bounce and we'll talk about everything else after we win, right? So that was the mentality year after year. I think after 95, after we went undefeated, it was the thought. We had the mentality of what we're doing is right. right? So we're on the right track. We just got to keep those pieces plugged in, and we were able to do that. North Minneapolis, we want to say the mecca of hooping in Minnesota or Minneapolis, but it is. We are rough, we're tough, we're aggressive over there, and we were able, from sheer numbers, to just plug in players and keep it going from 95 to 96. A couple of obviously the seniors, the elder statesmen of that undefeated team left, but their DNA, the DNA that they left, the culture that they left was just uprooted in those underclassmen.
And who were those guys, man?
Those
seniors?
We had Albert Wall, Chris Rainey.
I heard that name. I heard that.
Albert Wall, unsung hero. Don't care who scored the points, don't care who gets the notoriety. He just wants to be productive. He just wants to do his part to help us win. And when you got teammates like that, your team is going to be the chemistry and the cohesiveness on your team is just, it's going to be hard to beat that team when you have selfless players like that. Albert Green, another big man, an unsung hero who just want to get out there and fight and do what he can do to help us win. Henry Smith, coming off the bench, a diehard Polar student of the Polar history, man. His father worked at North High. I want to say his mother did too, but worked that many years as the hall monitor for many years. Man, we just had guys who was rooted in the North High tradition. And so when you got guys going like that, going to your school, playing for your team, so selfless, it's hard to beat those type of players. We mentioned Chris Rainey, the most talented out of our bunch. Went to Nebraska University for football, but, he was the most talented player on our team, made us tough, gave us that confidence that we can get it done. And, we had a few more seniors on the team, but those guys were really the guys who really came off the bench and gave us that extra oomph when we needed it. And then moving on to, 1996, we had Carrick Taylor coming over from South High. Okay. He came over, joined us as a sophomore, and so he just filled in that big man spot that Albert and Albert left, and Henry, he was able to fill that forward spot and give us some size in the middle. And we had a transfer, Andre Gray. He came over from Southwest, who provided us some size, some three-point shooting. So, yeah, man. So, from one year to the next, we were able to plug in those positions that we needed. But we did it with the right guys, the guys with the right mentality who understood what we were trying to do at North High. So it made it for an easy transition.
Yeah, everyone got to buy in for it to work.
Yeah, man.
Closing in on the high school career, when it comes to all those teams you just described, described all three of the teams passionately. What team was the best one in your opinion and why?
All champions.
Well,
it's like you got the pick.
The best team.
In your opinion, it doesn't have to be the most talented team, the best team in your opinion, that if you had to pick all those teams and you're playing against your version of yourself on that team, which version you picking?
Wow. I would say the junior year team might be the best team. We lost one game that year. But I feel like that was my best season. Okay. I felt like I was the best version of myself my junior year. So I would pick that team. But we went undefeated, right, in 95. Right. We lost 3 games in 97. So, each of those teams were pretty dang good. But I got to go with the junior year just for me. But, you ask any other teammate, they might have a different answer. But for me, the 1996 team was the best team. And, look, that's